Hello everybody, Saigan Cat here with a Quester's Rest. It's a rant. I hope everybody's having a good Memorial Day weekend anyways, even though I feel like ranting today. I apologize for my bleach white face, which is actually fine if I keep like my hands here. I'm at a normal color. No? Okay, maybe the sun's behind some clouds, which would be fantastic because it's like 90 degrees in here. I had Magic tournaments this weekend. I did better than I thought I was going to. I managed to eke out third. It shouldn't have happened. Just weird tournament. I don't think like many people were very happy with like how anyone was playing. It was just strange. Anyhow, I got a comment on one of my Dragon Quest X videos, and let's go ahead and read it. Right now, we'll read both of them. These are both from the same guy. I'm not going to name names, and I'm going to remove these comments. I'm not learning how to read Japanese just for this game. Why not hack it for internet PC use for English? It's only one of the two most common languages. Or why not make all those Jap games with the English option built in? It's so fucking hard to read. I'm going to guess that you weren't burdened with an overabundance of schooling. Thank you, Mal. I'm stealing that quote. Well, let's start with how wrong you are on a number of things. Okay, who wants to guess what the population of Earth is? Humans. Just humans. The population of humans living on the Earth. 6.9 billion. And those are last year's, 2 years ago numbers. These were the numbers for 2011. 6.974 billion. That's a lot of us. Oh my gosh, we are everywhere, aren't we? Let's talk about language now for a second, shall we? Okay, as far as the World Fact Book says, these numbers are from 2007. They might have changed. Mandarin is actually the most spoken language in the world, winning with 14.1%. That is 935 million speakers. There's a lot of people in China. But yeah, Mandarin, huge language. It actually dwarfs most other languages as far as speakers. Second place, we have Spanish. Our neighbors to the south, over in Spain, there are actually a lot of countries and smaller islands, and there's a whole number of places that speak Spanish. 387 million speakers of Spanish, 5.85% of the world population. Coming in at third, we do finally have English, which is spoken by 365 million people, or 5.52% of the world population. Now, there's this weird thing here in America. I don't know how many of my viewers are Americans. I imagine a good portion of you are, but I do know from my video information that I do have some viewers in Japan. I've got a couple of viewers in France. What up, France? Got a couple across the pond and other areas. All right, so since I've been playing Magic all weekend, this is all I really have available to me. This is my Commander deck. Commander decks are 100 cards, so this actually works perfect. This is what 100 cards looks like. Let's pretend that this is the population of planet Earth. Let's round up and say 6% of the planet speaks English. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is actually a pretty good hand, too. Mana Vault, yeah. Okay, so 5. Let's go to 6. We'll round it up. I want you to compare these. The rest of planet Earth speaks other languages. We speak this. Mandarin, huge language, right? 12% of planet Earth. You cannot expect the rest of the planet to speak your language. Just because it's what you know, it's what you're familiar with, and somehow because you got it in your head that the rest of the planet speaks it as well. There are a lot of people living here. A lot. If anybody's wondering who my commander is, Arkham Dagson, Artificer. In case there's any doubt as to how much of a nerd I am, I feel I've just cemented it, but between the Dragon Quest videos and now Magic the Gathering, and I've got a stack of Dungeons and Dragons books back there too, so there's this weird idea that Americans have that they can go anywhere in the world and English is the most common spoken language, when in reality it's the 3rd most common spoken language, and that's still not even a large chunk of the world population. Just going off the top. Alright, so we got Mandarin, 12%, Spanish, 4%, English, 4%, Arabic, 3%, Hindi, 2%, Bengali, 2%, Portuguese, 2%, Russian, 2%, Japanese, 1.8, German, 1.3, Javanese, I don't know what that is, 1.25. Other languages, 61%. Over half the people on this planet speak a language that I didn't even list. Some of them are going to have easier languages to read. Some of them are going to have comparatively harder languages to read. As far as the Japanese written language being hard to read, well, y'all know how I feel about kanji. It's inefficient. It's pretty to look at. People like using it for tattoos. Katakana and hiragana are what, like 50 characters each? And you still have to learn kanji if you're going to be, you know, at all fluent in Japanese. That's a tribute to Mimas and Mel that they're able to read it and translate it so easily. I've taken a Japanese class. I've taken a Korean class. The Korean Hangul. Oh man, if there's, that's another thing. There are such better options for us than like our Latin alphabet. The Korean Hangul, 20 characters, no wasted characters. It is a brilliant alphabet, and that's because it isn't an evolved alphabet. It was constructed. They actually had people create it to be easy and simple to read. The Korean Hangul is just perfect. If we're going to switch to anybody's alphabet, use Korea's. Because the American alphabet, I don't care what you think. The English language is a mess. It's a nightmare. And honestly, any evolved language is, because there's so many silly rules. The reason Dragon Quest X was released in Japanese is because it is a Japanese game. Should the companies, or should a publisher decide, hey, I want to release this outside of its country of origin, then they look at localizing. Then they look at, you know, getting the coding done and the writing done and the translating done that is required for other language speakers to be able to play the game. It's not something that Square Enix, who I'm not really a fan of them lately. I think they're making a lot of stupid decisions. But if Square Enix is releasing a game in Japan, and it's going to be a Japanese exclusive release at launch, why do you think they are going to bother with putting in a language that's not Japanese? It doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that? Would you do that? Would you pay extra money for people to be able to play your game when it's not even really being made available to them? I imported Dragon Quest X when it came out with the understanding that it's a Japanese game. I had to go through a lot of trouble to play this game. I had to get a VPN set up. I had to hack a Wii to be Japanese. I'm the outsider on this. I'm the one who has to make the effort to go in and play the game. And I use what I know of hiragana and katakana, and I use what I know of the social graces. You know, getting into a party. Yoroshiku. Nice to meet you. Everybody says it. It's just polite. Arigato. Thank you. Somebody tosses you a heal or, revives you after combat goes bad. Arigato. It is not hard. You can play Dragon Quest X online and really only knowing maybe like 10 common phrases. You can get by. You just don't have to get into a lengthy conversation with anybody. Why is that so hard for people? Why does everybody think that the rest of the world should speak their language? This is actually... I've been learning a language called Esperanto recently. It's a constructed language. It was created a long time ago. It's considered to be a living language now because there are enough native speakers of it. But it was originally constructed by a linguist who grew up in, I think, like Eastern Europe or somewhere. I can't remember where he's from because my memory is just, it's too hot. I can't think when it's this hot. He realized that it was just absurd to have so many people speaking so many different languages just so we can freaking talk to each other, just so we can communicate to each other. But language still makes up a very important part of culture. So he thought, well, let's just do a worldwide secondary language. You'd have your home language, the language that you grew up with, the language that you speak with your immediate family and friends at home. But out on business or, reading most books, everybody would have a secondary language to fall back on if you don't share another language with somebody. That was the point of Esperanto. There are a lot of speakers of it. There's over 1 million speakers of it worldwide, which doesn't even crack the top 10 list. There's a small country that has actually adopted Esperanto as their official language. And in learning this, and studying up on it, I've discovered that there are speakers in pretty much every country who host people. I could pick a list, or it's so hot, I can't think, I'm so sorry. I could pick a country from a list, go online, search for an Esperanto host, and I could go visit that country and stay with somebody, and we would share a common language in Esperanto. And I think that if we're going to get games released on an international level with a language option at all right out the gate, if they're going to do anything, they should use an intentional worldwide secondary language. I don't think that they have to pander to gamers. I'm one. Gamers who think that they deserve it, when this is, at its heart, a business. So it's just, why not make all those Jap games with the English option built in? It's so fucking hard to read. Oh, it's so easy to just ask somebody else to do things for you, isn't it? That said, still holding out for E3. I do hope that we get a Western release. I think that it could be successful if marketed properly. The Wii U needs games. Nintendo and Squeenix are kinda hurting right now. That's all I got, really. I mean, everybody just remember that no matter where you live or what language you speak, it's not going to be the same for the rest of the world. Just have the understanding that you're a very tiny part of the world. Minuscule. Third most spoken language in the world? Still only accounts for this much compared to this. Anyhow, that's what I wanted to rant about. I'm going to, I don't know, like go hide in my freezer or something. It's so hot. I get grouchy like as soon as the heat breaks like 65. Like up until 65 I'm okay, and then I don't understand people who like hot weather either, because it's so much easier to warm up if you're cold than it is to cool down if you're hot. Oh, the sun is just so bright. I'm going to be miserable doing my stream tomorrow for the Dragon Quest 1 marathon, which I hope everybody comes to watch it. It's on my Twitch channel, Saigan Cat. I'll be starting at 10 a.m. Eastern U.S. time. Take care, everybody.